Standing up against domestic violence requires a plan.
Channel 8's Jatine Tinsley has a few key resources domestic violence victims can use.
1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence at some point in their lives. And according to the National Coalition of Domestic Violence, here in Nebraska, those numbers break down to 33% of women and 28% of men who have or will experience domestic violence. Intimate partner relationships can be complex when determining what qualifies as domestic violence. It rarely starts out as overtly as a slap across the face or a hand around your throat. It's a situation that can often be insidious in nature, where the abusive partners slowly test the limits of how far they can go, leaving you to question whether or not the behavior qualifies as abuse. Voices of Hope Sexual Assault Services Coordinator Marla Soul says there are a few warning signs you can look out for.
Controlling behavior, having to know who you're with, who you're talking to on the phone, sharing passwords, things like that. Getting into the relationship very quickly would be another warning sign of an abusive relationship. Somebody who isolates another individual from their friends and family so that they're the only person that they can really rely on or have contact with and communication with.
Financial abuse is another form of the domestic violence wheel of abuse. It involves withholding monies to keep the victim dependent on the abuser, thereby making them unable to leave. The long-term effects of all forms of domestic violence include traumatic responses to future relationships and what Soul calls far-reaching effects that extend far beyond the abusive relationship.
They question their own judgment. They oftentimes blame themselves for what they've experienced because they're being told it's your fault. You're the reason that I have to behave this way. You're the reason that things are going bad in this relationship. So they do a lot of self-blame and a lot of self-doubt, trying to figure out what they've done wrong, how they can fix it.
If you've experienced domestic violence, there are local resources available from Voices of Hope that include domestic violence support groups, financial resources, and assistance with getting court-ordered protection orders. In Lincoln, Jatine Tinsley, Channel 8 News.
And the Voices of Hope crisis line is 475-7273.
We also have that number and other helpful information on klkntv.com. Just click on this story.